KUAM TV8, first on Guam. KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Apply at matson.com. Cars Plus, Guam's automotive leader in sustainability and electric vehicles. Learn more at carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
How safe is Tumon weeks after the tragic armed robbery that killed a Korean tourist? The Guam Visitors Bureau is looking to address those concerns by initiating a multi-agency special task force. I'm Mitsuki Hirayama with the details coming up.
Plus, part 2 of KUAM's exclusive coverage, a closer look at the THAAD system, the missile defense system in place to protect the island from enemy forces.
The NMI's first delegate to U.S. Congress, Gregorio Sablan, will not be seeking another term in office after serving for 16 years. I'm Tomas Manglona with the full story, as he says it's time to pass the torch.
Half a day and good evening. Welcome to KUAM News Primetime. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Happy Fresco Friday. Thank you so much for ending your week here with us.
The alleged getaway driver accused in the deadly armed robbery in Tumon has been indicted by a Superior Court of Guam grand jury. 26-year-old Stephen Keanu Camacho charged with complicity to commit aggravated murder and complicity to commit robbery, both special allegations of vulnerable victim enhancement. The indictment comes 2 weeks after the deadly shooting that unfolded on Gun Beach Road. The incident left a Korean tourist dead.
As KUAM reported, Camacho and Kyogi Santos drove to Tumon on January 4th with an alleged plan to rob tourists. The alleged robbery planned after the pair apparently lost $100 while gambling. Camacho allegedly admitted to police that they approached the couple, who they were spotted walking in Tumon when Santos demanded for the woman's bag and struggled with the male victim before he heard the gun go off. Santos died by suicide the night authorities were about to take him into custody. Camacho is scheduled to answer to the charges before Magistrate Judge Benjamin Cisan next Thursday. Well, 2 weeks after an armed robbery in Tumon took the life of a Korean visitor, the Guam Visitors Bureau initiating a multi-agency special task force to deter crime in the popular tourist district.
Today, they discussed what those safety measures look like and how much it costs to keep Tumon safe. Mitsuki Hirayama has more.
$28 million. That's how much Guam Visitor Bureau President Carl Gutierrez says may cost to make Tumon safe.
Can you just figure out where you guys can find some big chunk of money to make this thing work?
How much do you think you need?
I think we'll probably need about 28 million.
28?
Yeah.
The GVB standing up a multi-agency special task force today. This amid safety concerns after the tragic armed robbery in Tumon that took the life of a Korean tourist earlier this month. Guam Attorney General Doug Moylan calling it, quote, the worst case scenario.
This was the worst case scenario. It's not that they're taking things from your house, robbing you, hurting you. They're killing people in our community.
Now various government agency leaders are honing in on implementing security measures in the popular tourist district and discussing what that may look like. Utilities Oversight Chair Senator Will Parkinson suggesting more streetlights.
There's lots of sections where you're walking through long stretches of really dark road. And I think in terms of public safety, in terms of things that require less manpower and just put up and leave it alone, I think lights are where we get the best bang for our buck.
The Guam Police Department District 1 Commander Darren Caldwell suggesting to put up warning signs to alert the public they're being monitored on surveillance cameras.
We put up signage, at the entrances of Tumon. Right. I think that would be a greater deterrent.
One agreement on crime deterrence, there's an immediate need for more patrol presence.
Can you give us your idea on what we can, as a group, do to police this area?
Presence.
Park Patrol is dedicating 10 reserve officers to patrol Tumon, and Guam Fire Department Acting Chief Ed Chaco adding GFD has plans to build a rescue base at Matapang Beach.
Bringing our rescue units down to Matapang, we can place an ALS or paramedic unit down there. We also have drone capabilities, and then we can also have a rescue conduct routine patrol of the beaches with their ATVs.
Meanwhile, Gutierrez says there's currently only 6 visitor safety officers GVB can afford, but they've secured other means to provide presence.
We at GVB already got another, just ordered, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks get 4 black vehicles that look like police cars. We're going to put people in there just to drive around with some signs on the door and just be visible. Drive up and down. That's all they do. We have ATVs bought. We have mules so they can continue to patrol the beach.
Ultimately, the task force's goal is to make Tumon safer, to restore confidence to both our visitors and all who call Guam home. Matsuki Hirayama, KUAM News.
Thanks, Suki. Well, a former Guam resident who admitted to doctoring financial documents, giving false account statements to investors, and diverting investor funds for his personal luxuries will spend 4 years in federal prison. William Ichioka was sentenced in the Northern District Court of California on January 10th. Defense this week requested Ichioka serve time at the prison camp in Montgomery, Alabama, so that he can participate in the residential drug abuse program.
As KUAM reported, the FBI, IRS, and Securities and Exchange Commissions investigated his company, Ichioka Ventures. The feds uncovering that Ichioka, quote, convinced victims to invest millions of dollars into his phony venture by claiming he was making legitimate profits when, in fact, he was reporting fake results and creating bogus documents. Investigators said Ichioka was able to secure millions from investors by telling them lie after lie. He is scheduled to self-surrender on April 9th. A passenger who arrived on a flight from Honolulu Wednesday night under arrest after being caught with drugs, 26-year-old Evelyn Vargas Sandoval, is charged with importation of a Schedule II controlled substance, possession of the drug on board an aircraft arriving in Guam, and possession of Schedule II controlled substance.
Court documents state customs agents inspected her bag when officers found 2 plastic straws and a resealable bag with cocaine. The items were each concealed in the defendant's jeans inside her baggage. Vargas Sandoval initially allegedly denied owning the drugs before later admitting to owning it.
Now to a round-the-clock security operation in the northern part of Guam.
Tonight, part 2 of KUAM's exclusive coverage at Site X. We take a closer look at security and communications infrastructure on the ground surrounding the THAAD system.
It's the first time media access has been authorized to enter into the highly secured Site X, home to the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System for the Marianas.
We do this by manning a 24/7 security operation. Our soldiers here are man the physical towers here. There's camera systems that conduct surveillance, and this job is to provide security for our key assets as mentioned. We also look at the perimeter wire, we conduct hourly patrol checks.
That's Captain Tom Bergonia, Sec 4 Commander from the Guam National Guard. He's talking about the 24/7 area defense by Team Banadu of the Guam Guard, which is attached to Task Force Talon for integrated defense. Another vital part of that integrated defense against ballistic missile threats is communication. Captain Riley Campbell is the Echo 3 THAAD commander.
We have a lot of communication between our command post and our tactical station group here of identifying what the threat is, tracking it, the radar will detect it, and then it's on our operators to ensure that it meets certain criteria to be able to engage, and then if all that criteria is met, the officer will actually make that engagement.
Soldiers here demonstrating how this generator powers up that tactical operation and launcher communication stations Captain Campbell is referencing.
From inside of those 2 shelters, we're able to monitor the status of our launchers, of our radar, of any system faults, and that's where we're also able to make the actual engagements of an inbound threat.
And while KUAM was given access to the site, it was not without some limitations. Our cameras asked to be turned off while traveling to the site of the radar. Other precautions for the tour also here at this THAAD launcher, which had inert rounds in it for our crew's safety. So this THAAD is fully operable. Sergeant Christian Zamora giving us a rundown of what actual operations look like.
So to operate this equipment, what we would do is it is a 2-man crew. So I would have one person be designated over here along these handles where they would help elevate the launchers.
The THAAD holding the capacity for 8 interceptor missiles ready to defend our island and the region.
And watch KUAM News Weekend Edition as we wrap up our exclusive look at the THAAD system. Well, at a congressional hearing today, Guam leaders made their case for millions more in federal funding to cover the costs of migration from the freely associated states.
A bill by Congressman James Moylan seeks to replace the financial assistance that was lost after the Biden administration eliminated direct compact impact aid. Nestor Lecanto reports.
Congressman Jim Moylan's bill would do three things. First, restore compact impact aid, but restrict it to insular areas such as Guam and the CNMI. This because a separate bill by Hawaii Congressman Ed Case, Moylan says, the Compact Impact Fairness Act, or CIFA, already resolves issues for states. The bill would also require the Federal Bureau of Prisons to foot the bill for incarcerated COFA migrants who now make up 17% of Guam's prison population. And finally, it would require FAS citizens intending to stay on Guam to prove that they're either getting a job or getting an education. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Mayor's Council President Jesse Allig were in Washington to support the bill. They repeated a long-standing plea by Guam leaders regarding FAS migrants. Help us, help them.
The cost of expenses to provide services to these migrants have been increasing tremendously since my administration, from fiscal year 2019 to 2022. We now see a total of about $424 million of total expenses to include public safety, education, and so forth, with only a $54 million reimbursement. So the impact is greater to our local funds than what CIFA is meant to address.
I do believe, and many of us mayors and vice mayors on Guam believe, that every migrant coming to Guam must have a plan. However, we do understand that some have there may be some contentious idea behind it, and that we are willing to support that whatever extra funding we get, we support their migration to Guam by fully educating them and providing them opportunities for employment and for health care.
Congressman Moylan grilled Interior Department Insular Affairs Deputy Assistant Secretary Keone Nakawa on certain Biden administration positions regarding compact aid.
The federal government can find $2 billion for these other programs that we're not involved with, but they can't find $30 million a year that would cost to expand and provide SSI to cover Guam.
So I'm not aware of the specific, and maybe I just didn't catch the specific provisions you mentioned, but in general, the president's budget has to cover the entirety of the federal government, and provisions that are not specific in nature are meant to benefit the entirety of the citizenry of the United States. And so that's the only thing that I would comment on that.
Again, per the governor's comments, it's not acceptable.
Moylan did, however, invite DOI officials to come to Guam this year for a town hall and to meet with the people.
Hear the stories that we are referring to today and see with your own eyes why we need this funding, and you will understand our perspective.
In a statement afterward, Moylan said he will be working to identify a funding source which is required in order to advance the bill. Nestor Lecanto, KUAM News.
Well, time for a quick break, but keep it here.
You're watching KUAM, your leader in local news.
Half a Day Fresco Fridays on KUAM News. Presented by Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Marianas. Located in Hagåtña, just across from the Gani Shopping Center.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
What's better than a cheesy bite? Cheese in every bite. That's why we invented stuffed crust pizza.
topped and stuffed with almost a pound of cheese. There's only one original, the original stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Welcome back to Primetime. Over in the CNMI, the island's first delegate to Congress, Gregorio Sablan, will not seek re-election after 8 terms.
Regional correspondent Tomas Manglotny reports on the major development ahead of the November midterm election.
The NMI's first delegate to Congress, Gregorio Sablan, will not seek re-election after 8 terms totaling 16 years in office. The political powerhouse made the announcement Thursday night in an open letter. He said, "My love for the Marianas remains strong, but the time has come to pass this responsibility to a new representative the people will elect this November." He added, "And it's not because I've accomplished everything I wanted for the people of our islands. The work is far from done." KUAM sat down with Sablan in 2022 when he announced his re-election bid. Then he reflected on his time in office.
Of course, there's always something, there's always new priorities, but man, Tomas, this past 14 years has been good, I think, for us here.
This week, Sablan wrote in his letter, "I will leave Congress believing I've been able to establish the Northern Mariana Islands as a respected member of the American political family." He said he had his eyes set on Congress since his visit there in 1986, before the NMI had a delegate. He wrote, "I never imagined I would be our first representative or be able to serve so long." On social media, Guam delegate James Moylan said, "I would like to thank Congressman Sablan for his mentorship and for the wonderful working relationship between our offices. His leadership will certainly be missed in Congress." As Sablan's term ends, the question now, who's next? Tomas Manglotny, KUAM News, Saipan.
Thanks, Tomas. The Guam Chamber of Commerce discussed the island's economic outlook for 2024. Members gathering at the Western Resort Guam in Tumon today to listen to panelists. The discussion held as the global economic growth is projected to be slow this year. Guam Economic Development Authority CEO and Administrator Melanie Mandiola was among the panel.
Overall, we're just really doing a lot of work with trying to get more federal resources in for this type of stuff, and all of these types of initiatives, create partnerships and collaborations with private entities to help us grow these initiatives and pass out money through all of those initiatives.
The group also discussing the forecast for visitor arrivals and consumer spending and how geopolitical tensions beyond our borders impact our economy. Guam Power Authority's Procuring Real Solutions 2024 Vendor Fair and Expo seeing a great turnout today. 19 vendors showcasing their products and services at GPA's headquarters in Manilao. GPA Supply Management Administrator Jamie Lynn Pangilinan says they also extended the invite to other line agencies.
It's about fostering competition. So we wanted to conduct or host an event for the vendor fair and exposition. And it's to include also our current vendors as well as our potential vendors. And so it's coming together at the same time networking and to see what they can provide to us and support our operations, our needs.
One of those current vendors networking today, CNC Electric Company. Their manager, Sharath Padaki, coming all the way from Melbourne, Australia to showcase their products.
Our main business is to provide reliable electricity, right, to keep the power on, to keep the lights on. We provide, like I said, reliability to the network, and so our products are very unique. There's a lot of technology that goes into our products, and there aren't any other products that do what our products do.
It's GPA's second vendor outreach with the Expo, a new edition this year. Well, the world's second most translated book after the Bible, the classic children's book The Little Prince by Anton de Saint-Exupéry, is now available in the Chamoru language. Titled I Dikiki na Principi, the Chamoru language edition was recently translated by Polly Eric Forbes, the former Capuchin Superior for Guam and Hawaii, and a prolific author. He presented copies of the book to the Guam Department of Education during a press conference earlier today.
The fact that it is now in Chamoru, not only for the sake of our school children who will get these in the classroom, but the fact that it is in Chamoru shows that our language is worthy. The message of The Little Prince is, even if you are a grown-up, have the heart of a child. The message of the book about keeping the heart of a child is the essential things in life are not visible. They are seen with the heart. And that's what children do. And how much we need that in our world today.
Copies will soon be in all 41 GDOE schools, classrooms, and libraries for free. It's possible through a grant from the Jean-Marc Probst Foundation.
Now for a look at your world at home. Here is a view captured from the Great Seal of Guam Park in Hagåtña.
This view plus much more music streaming on Isla Digital Radio.
A space that fits your diverse lifestyles. Simple, yet sensuous. It is a perfect form, a streamlined silhouette. Awaken your world. Electrified Streamliner, Ionic 6.
Tonight is now chicken night? Oh, yes, it's chicken night. Chicken night. Oh, yes, it's chicken night. Oh, what a night. Oh, what a night.
Make it a chicken night with KFC's $25 fill-up box.
It's making good.
Things we always talk about every practice, every game is attitude and effort.
I said, you know, it's just a preseason, but we still got to work hard, and I give all the credit to those guys.
As long as I can give them the concepts and team skills that they need to proceed up to the varsity level, then I'm doing my job.
Preseason, goes to play everyone. You know, see what kind of rotation we're getting, so we're still trying to get to know each other a little bit better.
As long as we learn to keep our, our composure and learn to play together, I mean, these guys are aggressive when we can accomplish this season. So I'm looking forward to see how we battle in league. I mean, gosh, it's coming quick. So, I mean, and I think we can be a contender for sure.
Showing up every single day, the 5 a.m. practices, the practice after school, the lunch practices. I'm just a guy on the sideline yelling. It's really the boys that are doing all the hard work.
On a coach level, personally, I just want these kids to achieve their full potential.
What I really like about basketball is art. Is it checks off a few things. Number one, it promotes island pride. I'm so proud of the development of youth basketball and adult basketball in the international arena. Guam has a long history of doing excellent in basketball, and it provides students with an opportunity to pursue excellence, and in some case it helps them with their academics, and that there is a connection between student achievement and sports achievement.
Zoom Zoom
'Tis the season for speed, and Docomo Pacific is putting prepaid customers in the fast lane. Starting November 3rd, 2023 to January 31st, 2024, every $5 prepaid card purchase from a participating store gives Docomo Pacific customers a chance to win a brand new Mazda 3. So load up at participating stores and drop off your entry to any Docomo Pacific retail store. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply. Visit DocomoPacific.com for details.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
That was good. Special edition of Feed Me Fridays brought to you by Weet-Bix, Australia's #1 breakfast cereal. Hoppity guys, welcome back to another edition of Feed Me Fridays. Today we're going to be trying out the new Weet-Bix Bites, which are actually a product of Australia and is also known as their #1 breakfast cereal. We have the flavors Apricot Crunch, we also have the Honey Crunch and the Wild Berry. And we also have their Cranberry and Coconut Bar. This product is actually a good source of fiber and protein and also includes vitamins B1, 2, and 3, plus iron. And of course, we have our lovely friend, Mr. Devondale. All right, and now for our taste test. First bite. Wow, it's very, very delicious. It's not too sweet. It has like this little, a very, very slight hint of like saltiness into it. It's really good. I really like it. Moving on to the Weet-Bix Cranberry Coconut Bars. Little granola bars. It's so cute. From first impression, it's very light and flaky. Very different from like our usual granola bars, which is like hard. I remember when I had braces, I could not eat granola bars. We'll try it. And it's definitely lighter and flakier and definitely not sweet. Alright guys, and that's it for today's edition of Feed Me Fridays, brought to you by Weet-Bix Bites. And don't forget that you can get these products in select stores island-wide. Happy Friday guys, and see you guys next week. Bye! Special edition of Feed Me Fridays brought to you by Weet-Bix, Australia's #1 breakfast cereal.
Make plans to be at the Phoenix Center on the 27th because Harmony Che presents Guarded Phases of the Moon is happening, featuring some of Guam's most talented artists. It's 3 to 11, so make sure, go there, invite your friends. It is going to be absolutely amazing. You need tickets, so check out guamtime.net for more information. Tanotasi Jantoru will be holding a community cleanup, and they need us. That's you, that's me, that's all of us, to make sure that we keep our island pristine and beautiful, because Guam is so beautiful. There's a native tree planting on Saturday the 20th from 8 to 10 a.m. This is great for kids too. You're going to meet on Sus El Bamba Road in Ningilao, and please bring your own reusable drinking container. And the Saipan Marathon is happening. You know, Tomas just reported that the Rota Marathon is happening, and marathons are super awesome, and it is happening up in Saipan on Saturday, March 9th, over at the American Memorial Park, Micro Beach in Garapan. Register. Go up there. Check it out. Represent 671 and then 670 and have a good time. We're all about sports and fitness here on the show, and that's what we do on News Bites, getting you ready for your island weekend.
Now for your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shout-out submitted on KUAM.com.
And the winner of a yummy ice cream cake.
Happy birthday, as the island weekend is right around the corner, and we start with one of our own here, our family member here at KUM, Miss Anna Tuquero. Miss Anna, we wish you a wonderful birthday again. And you guys, this is our new tradition here at KUM, right? Every year on her birthday, Miss Anna makes us pan-sit. And that's how amazing she is. I mean, we love her. She's an incredible member of our team. And thank you again, Miss Anna, for the wonderful pan-sit. It's so delicious. And we wish you a very, very wonderful birthday and a great weekend. Jennifer Lynn Lazama also has a birthday today. And happy birthday blessings to Jen. Your family is sending you all the love in the world. So Anna and Jen, we hope you both had a wonderful island weekend. And we hope Eleanor Cruz is having a good start to her weekend, because Eleanor is the new owner of a Cold Stone Creamery ice cream cake, and we will reach out to you to let you know when you can pick up your prize. Congratulations and happy extended birthday once again.
Happy birthday to all of you celebrating out there. That's your primetime show. Thanks for watching. I'm Nick Delgado.
And I'm Destiny Cruz. Have a safe weekend and stay beautiful.
The Hub is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
In a recently released op-ed piece, Joint Region Marianas Commander Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman reflects on a memorable 2023 and looks ahead to 2024. He arrived shortly after Typhoon Mawar, which was the focus of much of his first 6 months in command. In the coming year, one of the top priorities is working with U.S. Indo-PACOM in addressing the rising threat of advanced long-range weapons by implementing a 360-degree land-based missile defense system. The Admiral says he also intends to increase engagement with the Civilian Military Coordination Council in addressing military impacts and expanding the military presence. He adds that he's committed to transparent communication and partnership with regional governments. Coming up on The Hub, our candid conversation with Guam's top military commander. Don't go away.
The Hub is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc. Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
The Hub is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Happy day, everyone, and welcome to The Hub. I'm Nestor Lecanto, and I'm honored to introduce our guest this week, who is Rear Admiral Greg Huffman, who, of course, is the commander of Joint Forces Marianas. Admiral, thank you so much for joining us, and appreciate your time.
Nestor, thank you for having me on board. Half a day, and Happy New Year, and great to have an opportunity to speak with you today.
Happy New Year to you, sir. I think what triggered this also is I read your op-ed that you recently issued, and I wanted to ask you just to maybe give us your top highlights from that op-ed piece.
Fantastic. No, absolutely. You know, I would say right off the top, I am really excited to be here on Guam. My wife and I are having a tremendous time, and it really goes back to just the unique nature of the island and the people here. And we have just felt like we have been welcomed as part of a family right from the very beginning. And that has really set the foundation for all of our experiences here. And then what we're doing here at the Joint Region and across the entire area has really been inspirational and exciting for me. And so that was sort of the genesis of capturing things in that op-ed. And then it's sort of, it outlines a lot of what we do here at Joint Region and what our priorities are and where we think things are going into the future as we capture, all of the things that we did this past year. And of course, it was a very eventful year. I mean, the super typhoon certainly set everything up. But as I mentioned in the op-ed, I got here just after the super typhoon, and I got the opportunity to see resiliency in action and to see that true Anafamalek spirit throughout all of the people here, watching people who were victims, but also first responders, people whose houses were damaged or who were out without power, were out in the community, helping their neighbors, helping their friends, helping their families.
that was just incredible to see. And I think it underscored how quickly we were able to bounce back from that super typhoon and get back onto a more normal posture. And that set the tone for my portion of time here on the island. So that was really a great experience for us, just to see the people coming together and really helping each other and being a family and living that one Guam ideal that we try to champion here at Joint Region as we work throughout the community.
Yeah, Admiral, one of the issues that has surfaced recently is, of course, the missile defense, the 360-degree system that is being planned. In your op-ed piece, I wanted just to read briefly this quote: "Global geopolitical tensions and current conflicts are reminders that we must remain vigilant and prepared for potential threats. It is my mission and responsibility to defend everyone that calls our island community home." I'm wondering if you have an update for us on that missile defense system?
Yeah, so, Nestor, our protection of the homeland and protection of the people of Guam is our priority here. And so the Guam Defense System is going to be a keystone to that going forward. And so, we're still in the planning stages. We're still working through all of the details. As you're aware, it has to go through the environmental process. And so that is what is ongoing right now. And so my expectation is that it's still on track. We're still working very closely with the Missile Defense Agency, with the U.S. Army, who will be the overall Department of Defense executive agent for the system. And we're working through that environmental impact statement process. I expect those will start coming through later in the spring into early summer, with an opportunity for public comment again, so that we can address any issues that are highlighted and that were highlighted through those public scoping sessions, and the opportunities for people to leave comments. And then we'll address those, work through mitigations, and continue to partner with the people of Guam to ensure that the system, as it gets in place and as it gets designed and developed, meets all of the concerns that the people here would have.
Yeah. One of the other big developments that is contained in the NDAA is the mandated creation of a joint forces task force. And I remember commenting to one of your PA officials, Catherine Norton, that sounds like a big deal because it's mandated by Congress and it is to be headed specifically by a 4-star. I'm wondering if you could elaborate on that joint forces task force.
Yes, absolutely. So that is a big part of how we are setting the posture the right way throughout the theater. So as we're bringing capabilities like the Guam Defense System, as we're adjusting where forces are going to be positioned throughout the Pacific, the Indo-Pacific Command recognized the need to bring a higher level operational command and center it here in Guam. And so that is the Joint Task Force Micronesia. And we're in the process of actually starting to build that out. So the first members of that task force are here on the island. They are embedded with the Joint Region Marianas staff as they look into physically where are they going to operate, how are they going to be structured, what requirements will they need, and as they kind of move forward with that. So that's where we stand right now. The overall intent in the end is to take some of the roles and responsibilities that we hold here at Joint Region Marianas and shift them over to this operationally focused joint task force. So an example would be, right now I serve as the senior military official for the Indo-Pacific Command here in Guam and the CNMI, as well as the Republic of Palau and the Federated States of Micronesia. Those tasks would shift over to the joint task force to take up that role. So that's part of it. One other thing, though, is I'm tracking that it's a 2-star command is the way it's envisioned to be, working for directly and reporting directly to Indo-Pacific Command as the 4-star.
Okay, so that 2-star would be based in Guam?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then JRM would retain, as you alluded to, the operational side, like oversight of the bases and supply and that sort of thing?
Exactly. So the joint region is primarily focused and constructed to be handling installation support issues and making sure that our installation infrastructure and the construction projects and all of that activity here on Guam and up in the CNMI all of that falls under our purview. And so that's what we'd be focused on. We're doing that right now, but we would just be able to focus all of our energy on that as that senior military official role would shift over to the Joint Task Force.
Yeah, and the Joint Forces Task Force implies that it's not just going to be the Navy anymore and the Marines, but also the Air Force and the Army. So are we going to see additional contingents of the other forces here as well?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. It will be truly a joint staff. And so, in fact, the personnel that are here right now as this advanced debt, as they're setting up all of their studies and posture for how that task force is going to look. There are personnel from the Army, the Marine Corps, the Air Force, and the Navy, all assigned to it. And that's what I would expect for the Joint Task Force itself. And then across the island, especially with the Guam Defense System coming on board, I think we'll see an increase in Army personnel because Army has been tasked with leading in the oversight of the Guam Defense System. And so they'll have a preponderance of the personnel operating that system. And so I'd expect we will see an increase in their numbers. And then, of course, we'll also have Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force personnel.
Yeah, from a civilian community perspective, how should we, look at this establishing of this task force? What should we be concerned? Should we be relieved? What do you think should be the reaction of the average citizen?
I think it's actually a very positive thing. And I think the people should feel assured that the DoD and the Indo-Pacific Command are looking very closely at the importance of Guam and making sure that the command structure that we put in place here is absolutely tailored for the mission sets for defending the homeland and being able to take on that increased responsibility that will come with the Guam Defense System. And so that's really I think the perspective to take away is this is probably right. I think it's a very positive thing in terms of setting up the Joint Task Force. It is really right-sizing the command and control structure that we have here on the island, given the importance of Guam and giving what we need to do in terms of maintaining that free and open Indo-Pacific region. Having that operational command headed by a two-star, provides that gravitas that would really enforce what needs to be done here on the island in terms of getting our forces, set the right way and having the right command and control.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Guam keeps increasing in its focus, not just in the Asia Pacific region, but also nationally. I think a lot more focus on Guam and its role and its importance. Of course, the military has played a major role economically to Guam. The amount of federal funding and military spending has really boosted the economy at a time where, our number one industry, tourism, has suffered. And I wanted to talk about that and the impacts of that to the community. But we have to take a quick break, sir. We'll be right back with our discussion with Rear Admiral Gregory Huffman right after this break.
The Hub is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
The Guam Brewery was established with a simple mission: to deliver the island we call home with fresh craft beer, made with the cleanest and tastiest ingredients. From IPAs, stouts, sours, and everything in between. We are here with good beer to be a catalyst for creativity and community. This is your beer, Guam. Come home to the simple, fresh taste of locally brewed beer. The Guam Brewery. Guam Brewery reminds you to drink good beer responsibly.
Zoom, zoom! 'Tis the season for speed, and Docomo Pacific is putting prepaid customers in the fast lane. Starting November 3rd, 2023 to January 31st, 2024, every $5 prepaid card purchase from a participating store gives Docomo Pacific customers a chance to win a brand new Mazda 3. So load up at participating stores and drop off your entry to any Docomo Pacific retail store. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply. Visit DocomoPacific.com for details.
A space that fits your diverse lifestyles. Simple, yet sensuous. It is a perfect form, a streamlined silhouette. Awaken your world. Electrified Streamliner, Ioniq 6.
The Hub is presented to you by Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
All right, welcome back to The Hub. I'm Nestor Licanta. We're speaking with Rear Admiral Greg Huffman about the military's role in Guam and just his update and his perspective as the new year has come upon us. And Admiral, before the break, we were talking about, the new military posture, the arrival of a joint task force. But, of course, the military has been, a great part of our community for so many years. And, we have benefited from all of the defense spending on Guam, but there have also been impacts to the local community. I wanted to get your perspective. I know that you have a committee that you form with the governor's office that you will be meeting regularly with and have been meeting regularly with to discuss these issues that impact the community. One in particular that has come up over the years has been the impact of the military on the affordable local housing. Can you just kind of talk about that subject?
Yeah, absolutely, Nestor. So the committee is the Civil Military Coordination Council, and it was originally conceived back when we were looking at building out Marine Corps Base Camp Laws. So it was focused on the construction for Camp Laws and the progress that was going along with that. And it was just a quarterly meeting where the staff here at Joint Region Marianas had the opportunity to get with the governor and the cabinet and go through details on progress and any issues and iron those out. And it was very successful. And underneath the overall executive committee, there are a number of sub-working groups that handle specific issues. And so, over time, we've discovered that the success of that CMCC, that Civil Military Coordination Council, has been really great in terms of solving issues and moving things forward. And so we've actually increased the frequency of the meetings, and we've broadened the scope beyond just Camp Laws to everything across Guam as the military posture changes. And we do have a housing subcommittee partnering between the military and the DoD assets and organization and the organizations here on Guam, whether it's the government or whether it's working with the Chamber of Commerce and the real estate brokers on the island to get a really good understanding of the impacts of increasing our population. And really, it's about being a partner and finding solutions. So our primary focus is always going to be trying to get military personnel onto the bases where we have capacity, but then working out solutions so that we don't overstress the civilian community. And that is an ongoing effort. That is something that we continually stay engaged with, both from our team along with the governor's team, to ensure that we can find the best solutions and work through all kinds of options. And there are a lot of things on the table. A lot of things are being explored. With systems like the Guam defense system coming online, we're not really seeing that we have a lot of excess property to be able to do that from a housing perspective. But certainly we're still in the research phase on things, and we're still looking at what options might be available.
All right. I wanted to move on to Dodea. I know that part of your responsibility, a very important part of your responsibility, is ensuring that military dependent students, get the adequate education. That's obviously the concern of a lot of parents, that their kids, when they're at a base facility, that they get a good education. We understand from the superintendent that there apparently is a potential overflow of Dodea students, and that there's been discussions already. In fact, a team has come over and to inspect certain schools in anticipation of the overflow. What is your update on that?
Yeah, so, Nestor, education to me is a complete priority. It is one of my highest priorities across the board and always has been. In fact, my children went to Dodea schools at different times in their lives. But yes, in fact, we are looking ahead, and Dodea is looking ahead at what the capacity they have right now for the Dodea schools, and then anticipating an increase in students and what options are available. So they're still in a research phase, but knowing that military construction projects tend to take a long time, and again, partnering with the Guam Department of Education, looking at the possibility of some existing infrastructure, school buildings that are underutilized or not utilized at all, and a potential that they could be leased or purchased by Dodea as an option going forward. So they're in early conversations on that. I think there will be ongoing discussions as we move forward, but that is part of basically a very anticipatory stance that Dodea is taking in terms of looking at what they expect the population of school children will be and trying to get in front of any issues before there might be a problem.
Yeah, I'm wondering in your discussions with Superintendent Swanson, maybe not you directly or someone from Dodea, what would be the status of those students that do go to GDOE schools? Would they be GDOE students, or would they be Dodea student transfers, or what would their status be?
So I think right now, and this is again over more into Dodea's lane, but there are no plans to actually do anything more than acquire a school building and have that be a Dodea facility. That's kind of where the plans stand right now. But I know those conversations are ongoing, but I don't know that there are any plans from the Dodea side to have Dodea students shift over into GDOE schools. They would still remain in a Dodea facility.
Yeah. Well, having said that, though, I remember many years ago, probably more than 15 years ago, once upon a time, military-dependent students did go to Guam Department of Education schools. Is there any thought of ever returning to that?
Again, this is more in the Dodea lane, but all the conversations I've had with their leadership is at this point there is no plan to go back to that system. It's to maintain the Dodea system as it stands now, with the potential of acquiring new property and facilities to be able to operate another Dodea school is what they're looking at this point.
Okay, so you take, because as Superintendent Swanson has said recently in legislative oversight hearings, there is overcapacity within GDOE. There are schools that are underutilized because there's been a little bit of an outmigration of residents of Guam. So he does have overcapacity of buildings. But you're looking specifically at schools within close proximity to the bases, though, right? And those may not necessarily be the schools that are under capacity right now.
Yeah, that's a great point. So I think they're still in the early stages of an analysis of this and research on what might be feasible. Certainly a school that is closer to one of the bases would be more opportunity for the DEA to acquire. But again, that might not be the right one in terms of capacity. And so I think those are still the ongoing conversations they'll have to have and come to an agreement on how that, what is possible and how they could make that work.
All right. Just wanted to quickly turn to Marine Corps base at Camp Blas. It looks like, things are moving along very rapidly, and we could see the first permanent transfers of Marines and their dependents within the next couple of years. So what's your latest update on that transition from Okinawa to Guam?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And I absolutely agree with you. Those structures are going up very well. And I think that, the fact that even though they weren't fully constructed, they did very well during the typhoon, although they did suffer some damage. They are largely on track. There was some remediation they had to do after the typhoon, but the overall force flow of Marines from Okinawa to Guam is still on track. So I would actually expect the first cadre of personnel coming, and they're calling these the first movers, will get here in this year in 2024. And it's going to start with a relatively small number, but then that will start to grow over the years. So that's the current plan as the Marine Corps is working through that. But I think they, big picture, they are still on track for their original force flow. And with the first movers should be arriving towards the end of this calendar year. But again, that will be small numbers, and then that will grow over time until they reach that more steady state plan.
Are we talking about the bachelor soldiers or families, or what would be that first wave?
That first group will probably be a mix. but it will include families as well. So these will be, a permanent change of station from Okinawa here to Guam. And so I anticipate that to be a mix, just like the current cadre of Marines here that are already standing up the headquarters element of Camp Laws. They are a mix of bachelors and DoD dependents as well.
Okay, and could you give us an idea of how the military, the DoD, is preparing the transferees to come to Guam and stay?
So I couldn't speak directly for what the Marine Corps' plans are, but I do know that when people are getting orders here, they'll go through a screening process to make sure that they've got everything they need before they come over. They'll go through extensive counseling on PCS, just the basics for moving. And then when they arrive on island, we have a very robust cultural course to educate people on customs here on the island, on the infrastructure, on the Chamoru people, on the people on Guam, and just how to operate here, how to live here, and how to be good neighbors and understand some of the unique and wonderful characteristics of the island culture, and making sure that they come in here and they're really good neighbors, and that they, we can truly make it a one Guam as we bring different DoD personnel on board.
All right, Admiral, I wish we had a lot more time. We've got a minute or so left, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to just pass on a message for the new year to the people of Guam.
Oh, thank you, Nestor. I appreciate that as well. So, as I said in my my end of the year recap op-ed, very excited to be here. And I am looking forward to an incredibly exciting 2024. As we move out, we have a lot of things going on, a lot of great opportunities to partner with the people of Guam across the entire spectrum. And that, I think, is going to be very fruitful as we build those relationships, as we solidify the nature of the one Guam, and as we see our changes in this region. We can continue to protect the people of Guam, protect the homeland, and ensure that free and open Indo-Pacific region. So those are the things I'm looking forward to in the upcoming year. I think it's going to be very dynamic. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be great to be here. So I thank you for the time today, Nestor, and I look forward to talking to you after our next CMCC. I think we might try to have an opportunity to talk again and go through some of the results of that as well.
Absolutely. Look forward to that as well, sir. Thank you so much. You're Admiral Greg Huffman, Commander, Joint Region Marianas. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nestor Lee. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you again next week on The Hub.